Another daily dose of leadership. I'm so excited to have you guys on with us today. First of all, thank you guys for tuning in, liking, sharing, commenting. All of the above definitely helps get this message out to as many people as possible, because the whole aim of this segment is for all of us to get just a little bit better each and every day, because we understand that incremental change is better than no change. And it's all about progress over perfection. We ain't got to be perfect in one day. We don't have to be perfect in one season. As long as we're progressing, that's better than doing nothing. So I'm going to jump right into the subject today. Today, we're going to be talking about knowing when to fire yourself, knowing when to fire yourself. And I think sometimes this is a sticky subject, because the first point here that I want to elaborate on is don't jump the gun. I want to talk about firing yourself, but don't get too, don't jump to this conclusion too soon before your business says that you need to do so. I think as a solopreneur, entrepreneur, whatever you want to call yourself, it is highly valuable for you to understand all of the facets of your business, right? You understand the IT components, the accounting components, the sales, the bottom line, the operations, everything that makes your business tick. I think is important for you as a business owner to be intimately involved, particularly in the earlier stages of your business, of those different facets. But after a while, as you start to grow and you start to scale, you're going to have to start thinking about what things you need to do and what things you need to hire somebody else to do. Prime example, like for me and my wife, we've had a couple of businesses in the past, and we got a couple of businesses running right now. And the number one thing that we're looking at is that, hey, great. I think we both understand the financials. We both understand how to operate and look at our books as business people. However, we're getting to a place to where, hey, it's about time for us to think about hiring an accountant, hiring someone to handle these legs of the business for us, to make sure that we keep our books right and tight. That for you might look like, well, I need somebody to manage my social media. Now, I would highly suggest you understand that a little bit yourself, so you know what you're hiring. I think a lot of times I've seen people hire social media managers, and they're doing a job that for them that they may or may not be paying for exactly. But understand what your business needs and understand what your blind spots are. That's the next point. Knowing what your blind spots are and then hiring those blind spots. I just on the last episode of TPE, we had Rodney Payne on there, and we were talking about augmenting your skill set. And you augment, grow, enhance your skills or your ability to operate a business when you look and see where your weaknesses are. And then here's the thing. It might not be a weakness of yours. It might be something that you're proficient at, something that you can do. But as a proprietor, as the leader of the business, is it something that you should be doing? And I think that's one of the hardest questions to answer if you're dealing with a business, if you're in your business, is that when do I let go or relinquish the reins or the control over an area of the business that I know I can fully well do and operate myself. You know, a lot of times, yeah, you might be able to, it might be easy for you to compile a spreadsheet to control your expenses, but why not hand that off to somebody who's qualified, who's up to date on all of the different laws and rules and regulations as it relates to the finances? Hand that piece of the business off to them. You don't have to think about it, and you can focus more on top line sales growing activities. And so, like I said, number one, don't jump the gun. All right. Feel some things out first before you make the decision to hire somebody else. Number two, look at your blind spots. As you start to grow and start to scale, those blind spots that you have will be magnified. So that's at that point, you want to start considering who to hire. And the last point is you don't want to become the bottleneck in your own business. And so when I say bottleneck, some people may or may not understand what that means, but you don't want to be the restricting factor as the reason why your business isn't growing. Sometimes people will cut expenses so much by doing the work themselves that they'll work themselves out of business because they're not releasing, or they're not spending the money where they need to spend trying to save, and taking more time to do activities that would take them lesser time. Me and my wife was watching the show last night, and it was a flipping show. They were flipping houses, and the people who were flipping the home wanted to build a fence themselves to save themselves some money. Well, it took them 4 to 6 months to build a fence, whereas they could have got the fence built in 3 days if they were willing to make that upfront investment. And I'm sure them as the investors in the flipping of the property would have probably made a better decision getting someone else to make the fence, even though they had the skill set to do it. They knew how to make the fence, but time is money in your business. And so you've got to think about, when is it appropriate for me to let go, or when is it appropriate for me to hold on? And that's what, this whole thing is about, just knowing when to fire yourself, knowing when to make the best decision to scale up. I guarantee you, when you look at some of these larger businesses, the entrepreneur may have an idea of how each of the areas work, but they've gotten to a place where they've hired other people to handle all the nuances, all the particulars, all the specifics of a particular project, and they've outsourced that activity out. So thank you guys for tuning in to today's Daily Dose. That's all I've got for today. Follow us on Instagram at Alex_Seal. That's at ALEX_SEALE. Search us on YouTube, same handle, at Alex Seal.